The idea behind the new political geography of Europe is that sometimes we get too involved with looking at what's going on in Berlin and in Brussels when we're trying to work out what's going on with the euro crisis. And of course, other places such as Athens and London spring to mind as well. But sometimes you really have to understand what's going on in the slightly quieter countries. So what we did was, over the whole of 2012, we commissioned a series of 14 different essays by prominent thinkers, academics, journalists in 14 of the different member states in Europe, just to try and work out exactly what was going on with how the crisis was affecting the dynamics of politics within those states. And the result is this idea that we've got a whole new political geography of Europe, where it really makes sense to kind of understand what's going on, you know, in Denmark, in Finland, in Portugal, as opposed to kind of try and fit them into neat little categories such as core and periphery, or ins, outs, and so on. We found that an enormous amount of disruption is going on in Europe. That's quite self-evident, but we looked closely at what was happening in which areas, and it's obvious that a lot of the established political elites in Europe are really under threat from populist movements, from new dynamics that are coming up from the citizenship which no longer buys into, for instance, the old ideas of Europe or how they run the economy or what's being given to them. We also have the growing split between the core and periphery, and in the periphery you've got countries that always considered themselves to be an integral part of the European project, and now they're cast away from what they see as the centre of Europe. And then the third thing is, within the core, you actually have splits. So for instance, if you think about the Franco-German engine that always drove European integration and drove Europe along, there are such differences between those two capitals. And then finally, and perhaps even most crucially, you have no common shared vision of what European integration means anymore. It's evident that in a lot of places they are talking increasingly about political union, but there's a real disparity between all the different countries when it comes to trying to define exactly what this would mean. And hopefully, by looking through these 14 essays, you're really able to pinpoint, right, well, in this country this is what it means, in this country this is what it means, this is the nature of the debate in this country, and this is what's important in this other country. And hopefully that'll allow this complicated new jigsaw, this new political geography of Europe to be put together in a way that's actually meaningful for helping to solve the crisis. Because fundamentally, you're only going to be able to reinvent Europe if you can understand what actually drives and motivates the people within Europe. What are they scared of? What does Europe mean to them? And actually start to build Europe from the ground up by looking at what's going on in the member states.